tuning into the channel today. I am hanging out with my Emperor Regent guitar. This is made by Epiphone. I did a brief video on this previously. This is the third one of these I've owned over the years. And the last one I had used on it a special kind of string. These are Labella Jazz tapes. These are tape wound strings. Maybe you've had the chance to play in flat wound strings, and they feel very luxurious to your fingers because they're smooth and there's no ridges of like a round wound string on there, so you don't get any string noise. Now these jazz tapes are kind of like a flat wound string, but they don't use a metal wrap. They use a black nylon tape that goes around a metal core. These have an interesting kind of tone, so I'm going to play just a straight acoustic here for just a little bit. It's a nice mellow. I like that sound a lot. You can get the action really super low with these, but you know, depending on how much punch you want, the higher the action you have, the harder you can hit the strings. You can project a little bit more. Since I play with a pickup, I don't need to have the strings that high. And if I turn the pickup on, now the tone of these is pretty neat. My amp is about 7-8 feet away here. Let's see here. Here's with the tone, the brightness all the way up. Let's see here. They sound really good, really nice. They have a great feel to them. They're so smooth. Now, one of the things, if you are going to put tape wounds on an Emperor Regent guitar, prepare for some headaches. I've done this before, and I actually forgot a couple of the headaches because it's been several years since I've owned one. Tape wound strings, they have like a purple kind of silk at the end that kind of wraps the end of the string and up at the top to keep the string from unraveling. Bass strings are kind of like this, and so they're kind of constructed a similar kind of way. Now on an Emperor Regent or like the Epiphone Broadway, I don't know if the Joe Pass Emperor has the same type. This is called a frequencator tailpiece. There's a two-piece tailpiece. Normally, the short section is on the top, the long section is on the bottom. Now, I had to switch mine around because the strings simply aren't long enough with the wrap. If I kept the top tailpiece in the normal place on top, the short one, the purple wrap stopped. It came to about right here, and it wouldn't go. I laid it out above the string to kind of look at it, and it would not go past the tuner. So I had to switch the tailpiece around in order for the felt, not the felt, but the silk at the top could go up to the tuner and not, you know, be down below the nut. That's not a big problem because the frequencator tailpiece is designed to be able to do that. You can adjust. The frequencator is designed to give you like different string tensions or accommodate different kinds of strings. There's two little hooks right here in the tailpiece, and these just slide out. And then the little parts here where the strings have the slots that go into, they unscrew and just come off, and you just switch them around. So the ones with the wider slots for the bass strings are up on the top, and you can switch them back around that way. So that was one thing. The other thing I knew this too, I had remembered this part of it, is that the gauges on these strings are, let's see, they are from the E is a 14. It's pretty substantial. A 14 and 18, a wound 36, 46, 56, and a 67 on the top. That's a pretty heavy or a pretty thick gauge. Now, one of the things about the composition of tape wound strings is that they're very low string tension. With all that mass vibrating, you get a good sound, but the string tension is very low. They're very, very comfortable to play. But you have to modify your guitar limit, and some people, they don't want to do this. You make a commit when you go to these strings. You have to widen your nut slots up here for the first couple of strings. so the strings will sit properly down in the slot. So you just got to widen them out a little bit with a file. It's not hard to do. If you're a little skittish about doing that, it's easy to get a guitar tech to do that for you. Thing is, it's a permanent kind of thing. You're gonna, if you want to go back to the way it was before, you're going to put a new nut on. It's not a huge thing, but it is. It's, you know, it does. You may get some, if you went back to an old, like a lighter string gauge with a narrower diameter, you might get a little bit of rattling there, I would suppose. I've never gone back. The times I've had these, they've been really, really good. Another thing that you'll run into is, like, even with switching the frequencator tailpiece around here, when you get to the G string, the wrap on the G string is wider than this slot here. So I had to take like a box cutter and kind of shave off some of that wrap so that it would go in here. And even then when it was in place, again, I ran through the thing where the wrap on the string, that little silk at the top, came down below the nut. So I had to go and kind of scrape it off the string and put it up a little bit higher, and so that it would clear that. Kind of a pain in the butt. Many guitars just have a straight tailpiece that comes up there, and all the strings are all the same length. The frequencator, it is what it is. It's pretty, and it's functional for some things, but for adapting to these strings, you have to kind of modify the guitar and the strings a little bit. But once they're on there, they're great. The last time I had these on, like I said, this is the third Emperor Regent I've had. The second one I had jazz tapes on it the whole time, and I don't think I changed those strings in 4 or 5 years. If I did, all I had to change was just the trebles. The tape doesn't do any wear on the frets at all, and the frets don't do any wear on the strings. They just sit there and just coexist together nicely. The string tension is nice and low. They don't get notched. The intonation stays good on them. I mean, they last for years, and you never have to change your strings. They don't break. It's like I've had, like I said, 4 or 5 years I had them on the last one. So I decided to make the plunge and go to these. I had tried, since I bought this guitar, it came with flats on it. I switched over to some Diodario chromes for a while. I like those, but they're a little stiff feeling. I tried like a 12. 11 was too light. 12 was a little too heavy. Need something a little bit in between. I tried a set of Diodario round wound nickel strings that were a 12 gauge set with a wound third. They sounded pretty good on this as well, but the string noise you get, it's kind of distracting. So I decided, okay, I'm going to commit and go back to using jazz tapes again, and so I bought the Labella set, and then I did the modifications. And putting it on there, I had just forgotten a couple of things about that stupid silk there. So if you do change, count on that you're going to have to do a little bit of doctoring on your guitar and do the string in order to make them work on an Emperor Regent. That said, though, boy, once they're on there, they sure sound good. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Click the little bell thing there to get some notifications. And help the channel grow. Share this with somebody else. And I hope you're having a great spring. Hope you had a good Easter. Hope you avoided the cold and flu season. I think I was sick for about a month with some kind of respiratory bug, and I'm still a little raspy from it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time here on the channel. Bye.